Today, we are going to take you through a journey. We're going to walk you through a story that takes you through the life of a business owner, from his small, scrappy startup to massive international success, and all the trials and tribulations he has along the way, and how Geotab and our partner ecosystem are there every step of the way to give him a hand. This is the story of Pete and his HVAC company, Oasis, ironically situated right here in Las Vegas. Pete's got about 15 or so vans and trucks, a couple of medium-duty vehicles to support those commercial loads. Pete's wife still does the books. He ain't flush with cash. His needs right now, they're pretty simple. He wants to know where his team is, where they're going, how productive they are, how the job went. Now, Neil, you started Geotab on your own. Surely you know a thing or two about Pete's situation. How might we give him a hand?
You know what, Mike, I vividly remember those days. When you're building a company, every dollar is an investment in your future. Cannot forget the days when Dad's job was to cut the CDs for the software, package them up, ship them to our first customers, and Mom was doing the invoicing. We've come a long way since those CDs. And to support the thousands of small business fleets out there, including Pete's, we're proud to announce our next generation of Go device, available in Q2. This next-gen device has been engineered with a completely new form factor. It's more powerful than its predecessor. It's more unified with integrated Bluetooth and requires much less hardware to connect to auxiliaries and other data. It's more reliable with energy reserves that gives you notification if the device is unplugged.
That's awesome. Now, I love how integrated it is, Neil, but people know Geotab for being sophisticated and scalable. Now, Pete is worried that sophisticated means more complex. If he plugs this in today, Neil, what does he see?
You know what? He sees something very simple. This is our next generation of My Geotab that will be available in Q2 of this year. It's designed to work the way that you do. Now, if you've been to Connect in previous years, you're already familiar with our DJ Vic. And he's going to take us through a quick demo. So when Pete first pulls up My Geotab, he's met with a very simple interface that's designed to show him just what he needs to get started for a small business. He isn't overwhelmed. He's met with a clean, intuitive interface. Now, Map, the heartbeat of his business, is front and center. No complex configuration. He's also got quick access to the basics, Map, assets, and users. We've spent a lot of time mapping out the needs of the small business user and have worked hard to simplify the journey for all of the Pete's out there.
Now, Neil, this looks absolutely beautiful, but in simplifying it so much, have we really taken away the power that is Geotab?
No, not at all, Mike. The power's really tucked away until he needs it. So with our shop, the new store in My Geotab, Pete can activate any advanced features with one click. This makes it seamless for him to grow. And when he's ready for more, the ecosystem is ready for him.
A unified device, simple user experience, all designed to get Pete maximum value as quickly as possible. I love it.
As an early-stage business owner, now, Pete needs to make sure that the quality of service that he's offering is top-notch. He's kind of feeling blind. He suspects that some of the techs out there are better than others. But he's an HVAC expert, not a data scientist. Let's look at how easy it's become for Pete to get answers.
And this is where Pete meets his brand new business partner, Geotab Ace. Pete doesn't have to worry about running a report, lots of Excel spreadsheets. He simply asks Ace a question. Let's see that in action. So over the last month, Pete wants to know if there's been any abnormalities in time spent with any of his customers. So he asks Ace that question. And sure enough, he looks up there and he sees Joe. Joe has spent a heck of a lot longer than anybody else with his customers. He can't quite understand that. Joe does similar work to everyone else. There shouldn't be a reason there is this big difference. Joe's maybe a little bit newer to the crew. So he decides to dive in a little bit deeper and look for trends over the last few months. And so he does that, and he asks Ace the question, and then Ace confirms that, yeah, he's talking about Joe Rhodes. That confirmation mechanism has been so important for Ace. And it turns out, at the end of the day, Joe's actually got a heart of gold. He's spending most of his time in the Sun City area, where the demographic is about 50% senior citizens, and Joe spends about 20 minutes every single day explaining the new thermostat to every single grandmother on the block. Joe just needs a little coaching, Neil.
Hello, is this Oasis? This is Nancy. I wanted to let you know that I saw one of your vans driving like a madman on East Ann Road between North Commerce and North Bruce between 1 and 2 on January 15th. Can you hop onto your computer thingamajig and ask him to watch his driving?
You know what, Vic? I'm going to let you take that one.
So sorry to hear that, Nancy. I'll look into that right away for you. Safe driving is important to us, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I'm not exactly sure which technician that could be. So let me ask Ace. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in my prompt here. Who is driving at this intersection in North Las Vegas between 1 and 2 p.m. on January 15th? We'll hit submit. Okay, I did actually see that one of my technicians was there during that time, and he was speeding over the limit. My goodness, I'm going to have a chat with Joe to see what was going on.
So what you just saw there was an example of geographic reasoning that Ace understands and is very much built in. It understands maps and geography exceptionally well and can answer some simple questions like that one from Nancy.
And we're excited today to announce that Ace is now generally available to customers. Now, this has been a lot of work, and it's taken longer than expected to meet our quality bar. But it's now smarter, it's multilingual, and it's more capable. We've taught Ace so much more than just fleet data science. It's now even able to answer your support questions, which actually accounted for 30% of users' questions.
And over the last year, we've had over 3,000 customers leveraging and using Ace, asking a wide variety of questions, from simple to very, very complex. One customer was interested in understanding mileage smoothing. He leased his vehicles and wanted to look for opportunities to swap out similar vehicles in his fleet with those with lower mileage. Another question asked was, please provide me a recipe for apple pie. So you can see how the questions very much diverge. But what we do see is this progression, and I call it 4 phases. You go through this discovery phase where people just want to know what Ace can do for them. Then you go through this operational phase where people want to test out, where's my vehicle? They know exactly where that vehicle is. They want to establish that trust. Then that 3rd phase, Neil, that we're seeing is around strategic analysis, asking questions around all sorts of things from safety through to utilization. And the 4th phase is what I'm really excited about, is that conversational partnership. When people trusted enough to ask it follow-up questions, like sort this for me here, do this other thing. Really interesting. And I specifically love this one, Neil. Although English-speaking customers absolutely dominate Ace right now, proportionally, the Spanish contingent is leading the way in engagement. Let's hear it for our Latin American users. When I saw that stat, I thought you guys would like that. So very simply, Ace makes work easier. And here's a great, simple example I'm sure we can all relate to. Wade at Savage Systems was running on an incredibly tight deadline. He was able to leverage Ace to eliminate hours of manual effort stitching together data and reports. And folks, we are not stopping here. We are making Ace more capable of doing any task within my Geotab, and more importantly, integrating with all of the other AIs that exist out there. You'll see more on that later, I promise.
Geotab has worked closely with Google, the best in the world at AI, over the last years alongside their DeepMind team, the team that bought the world Gemini. With early access to the most capable models, we're able to provide valuable feedback that helps shape some of the models to meet the growing needs of customers.
So Neil, you remember Joe, who Pete got that speeding issue about from old Nancy over there? Well, not 2 weeks later did he get into a collision. He insisted that it wasn't his fault, but Pete's not sure. You know, he had all the telematics data in the world, but he didn't feel he had the full picture of everything. He wants something simple so that he can exonerate, or maybe not, his drivers in the case that anything unforeseen should happen.
You know, he's now realized that part of managing a company is managing the safety of your team. We have an inexpensive and very simple starting point for Pete, our Go Focus camera. It's AI-powered, privacy-friendly, and in the event of a collision, all the video is made available to him at his fingertips.
And right here, if you look, you can see that on that collision risk page that Pete was showing, that Joe is absolutely the highest risk driver, and it was largely due to his tendency to tailgate. You know, over the last year, our expert team has been diving deeper into our collision risk state-of-the-art AI model. And now we've included tailgating as a factor from a risk perspective. We always work very, very hard to try and validate our models. It's no use me coming up here on stage and telling you how great it is. We wanted to show it with proof. So what we did is last year, during 2025, we looked at all of the users of collision risk. And we looked at their usage from the time they started to 2 quarters after. And what we saw cumulatively was a 30% decrease in collisions. That's amazing. Absolutely incredible.
It's freaking amazing.
And I encourage you, honestly, if you are not using collision risk right now, please do so. It absolutely makes a difference, a huge impact. And on top of that, we found out that those who tailgate heavily are at a 26% higher chance of getting into a collision too. So some really interesting work that that team is doing.
You know what, Mark, I love this. The simplicity of AI telling us where to focus with minimal effort. Now, we don't need to tell people in this room the importance of managing safety. Getting our people home safe is paramount. But there's obviously very large consequential costs of having an accident.
Pete, it's Joe. I've got a problem. There are a few lights popping up on my dash. Is this urgent? Should I take it in?
Vic, looks like you've got another call for you.
Hold on a second, Joe. Let me check that out for you. Let me pull up your vehicle on Geotab's new asset maintenance page. If I scroll down here, I can see that your front 2 tires are running a little low. So why don't you go ahead and put some air in those tires? But let's also do this. For the future, let's make sure that we turn on our new Geotab rule to make sure that I get alerted even before you hit the road. And we'll also turn on Geotab's new feature to create work requests automatically every time it detects an issue. And if I navigate over to the work order management page, I can see that Geotab's already gone ahead and created a critical low tire pressure request here. Now let's go and take a look at those engine lights. I can see here that Geotab is telling me that there's 2 medium fault codes. And if I read the recommended action here, it says this can wait till the next service interval. And hey, check this out. Geotab's already summarized it all up for me, and it's saying that the risk of breakdown is medium. So why don't you go ahead and finish off your shift, but let's make sure that we get that vehicle checked out tonight. Thanks, Joe.
You know what Vic has done might seem pretty simple, but let me tell you, understanding the potential for vehicle breakdown has long been an elusive part that's plagued the industry. There have been many attempts to do it across the industries for many years, some working better than others, but our approach is rooted in the same approach that we took for collision risk, which is bringing unparalleled data science and rigor to what we do.
And our AI team over the last while has spent a long time quantifying downtime so that we could understand it in its entirety, not just for an individual fleet, but across 6 million vehicles, and only from telematics data, nothing else. So now we have a measure of downtime, allows us to create this breakdown risk model that works exceptionally well. Last year's version only included individual faults, but this year's version, we're looking at multiple faults. And we're not stopping there. We're bringing in all of our synthetic faults, like that electrical systems rating, boost the power of that model. But doing so, Neil, it takes meticulous partnership with our customers, because we want to make sure that we get it right and that our insights are actionable. A decision to proactively take a vehicle off the road can be quite costly.
We partnered with Amazon Europe, and the collaboration continues as we've evolved the model for their fleet. The result? Our severity assessments achieved a 97% agreement rate with the mechanics and are reducing fleet downtime through early identification of issues as they escalate to costly repairs.
That's incredible.
It's through working collaboratively to solve these difficult problems that excellence can be achieved. Think about the implications of what we showed you here for your own business today.
Now, a few years have passed, and Pete's business has really accelerated. He's gone from this small operation in Las Vegas to a whole new operation across the entire US. He's gone from 10 vehicles to 500 vehicles now, Neil.
Wow. So Pete knows how telematics has materially helped him run his business better. But as a relentless entrepreneur, he's looking at a few acquisitions in the construction and logistics space. The big difference here is that while his technicians needed vehicles to get their job done, now the vehicles are becoming the things that actually do the job. He's concerned about connectivity, dead zones. Now that he's branched out of Vegas, he wants to enable mobile apps via Wi-Fi without the need for running multiple network plans. Well, I'm pleased to announce that we have the very device that's perfectly suited for Pete's growing needs. The Go Plus is the device he can use to future-proof his fleet. The Go Plus is our best and most powerful device yet. It has everything its sibling has, but better connectivity, the best security rating, FIPS 140-3 for those that care, and better support for older vehicles. It comes with the best cell coverage, and in the future, the ability to connect to Starlink direct to cell. So Pete doesn't have to worry about dead zones as he grows across the US. It includes a Wi-Fi hotspot to eliminate the need for duplicate plans. What's more, it's a platform for the future where you can run multiple apps and AI at the edge. This jives with Pete's vision for future-proofing his business.
And for Pete, he truly thinks this will be game-changing, but he does want to see how it would work before investing further. So this year, we've invested a lot of time in making sure that that install process that we have is as simple as possible. So in the future, if Pete goes to set up an auxiliary like power takeoff for his construction vehicles or cargo door open or close, it's dead easy. The My Install app allows you to easily map these things. It detects the hardware, the Go Plus. It learns that signal like a PTO activator or cargo door or open close, and then the data flows straight into my Geotab from install to insight in record time.
Earlier this year, we rolled out Go Plus with one of our long-standing strategic customers, UPS, where efficiency at scale is critical.
And the Go Plus is clearly the piece of hardware that's going to take Pete into the future. And being future-focused, Pete's already started to invest in a lot of EV pickups because he thinks that it's going to bring down his total cost of ownership, especially in all of the cities where he's grown, and there's a really, really good charging infrastructure. But, Neil, as you know, operating EVs is a little bit different from gas vehicles, and he's finding he's getting continually concerned about battery degradation. Thankfully, he happened across a report that Geotab happened to put out on about 22,000 electric vehicles that talked about just that.
In the study, we found that frequent high-power fast charging degrades the battery quicker. In addition, using DC fast charging has actually gone up from 10% to 25% over the last 5 years. But overall, the study gave Pete a lot of confidence because he concluded that modern EV batteries are built to last beyond a vehicle's typical service life.
And to help Pete manage the state of EVs, Geotab's new EV Performance Insights gives him a view of his fleet's state of health and usable capacity. He knows exactly how much battery has degraded, and more importantly, how far that vehicle can actually go today and over time based on driver behavior, weather, climate, payload, terrain, and speed. This helps Pete really move from that range anxiety to range confidence.
Pete began to notice that his customer satisfaction scores are dropping. When he sifted through all the comments, it talked about two things: quality of service and timeliness of appointments.
Let's have a look at the world of Pete, shall we, Neil? So Pete's got the perfect plan in his head, but we all know that a plan is just a guess until the morning wakes up, right? It's 8 a.m., a technician calls in sick, a truck breaks down on the I-50 and another on Vegas Boulevard. Suddenly, his perfect plan goes awry. Dispatchers start shouting and screaming, phones start ringing, his team goes into survival mode, he's got an appointment coming up for Mr. Smith, the dispatcher grabs the closest driver and just says, go! In the frenzy, you solve for proximity and forget completely about profit. He ends up sending a technician who has neither the right skills nor the right tools for the job. So while you save 3 miles on gas, you have the potential to lose the customer.
Geotab's state-of-the-art routing and optimization engine has been trusted by customers for years, and we're thrilled to announce 2 new additions. So our new Suggest and Assist, which allows you to make the right decision and optimize for customer delight, and our new Capacity Planning, which allows you to optimize for routes based on vehicle load, ensuring that you don't accidentally overload your trucks. Now, when that same appointment comes for Mr. Smith, he does indeed see that Tom is the closest and seemingly obvious choice. But our intelligent agent will actually recommend sending Sarah. Tom is 3 miles away, but doesn't have the certification to fix the unit. Sarah is 12 miles away, but has the skill and the time. Now, Mr. Smith spent $15,000 with them last year, so the system will optimize for the relationship and skip Tom and go straight to Sarah.
You know, and Pete's problem isn't an isolated one. One of our longest-standing customers, Wide Open West, had a similar issue with their CSAT score of about 8.2. And once they employed Geotab's routing and optimization platform, that bumped up to 9.5. Pete should be soaring in no time, Neil.
Now, Pete's got his consistency problem, consistency in driver behavior and quality of service. His customer satisfaction in Nevada looks terrific, but he's not liking the mark in Texas.
Well, have I got the answer for Pete, Neil? Let's first talk driver behavior. Last year, if you recall, we launched a new joint venture with Geotab and Discovery Vitality, pulling in Discovery's expertise in driving behavioral change. Implementing this across Pete's fleet could drastically solve the driver behavior consistency problem that he has in a highly automated, but also a fun way. Let's have a listen to a success story that we had with Richards Building Supply over the last year.
At Richards Building Supply, we serve contractors and builders, and we have about 355 vehicles. The Geotab Vitality app gives the drivers immediate information right in their application. They can see their score for the day or for the week. The safer they drive, they're meeting that score. When they meet that score, they get points, and then they can turn those points into gift cards to be used for themselves.
Since the app was introduced, safety amongst the driver has greatly increased.
The Geotab Vitality app has changed safety conversations from a negative situation to a positive, and it fosters ownership right from the drivers. So it's really changed the safety culture. They feel like safety is important to them.
Now, you know what's really interesting to me about this is Richards already considered themselves to be a safe fleet. But by day 60, they saw a 40% improvement in safe driving. So they elevated their performance with comparable fleets by 8%. So between saving fewer collisions, better fuel efficiency, and better driver turnover, that's nearly $200,000 a year of savings, topped with improved morale and less downtime.
And to set that up in his fleet, Pete just needs to enroll his drivers, and he's off to the races. The Geotab Vitality mobile experience right within Geotab Drive lets his drivers see the goal they've achieved for the week and how close they are to achieving it. They can go in and look at each of their trips and see what behaviors need working on and which don't. They can easily track weekly progress, and most importantly, they can easily redeem those points at major retailers like Starbucks, or Walmart, or Amazon.
This really sounds like a win-win to me. Now, Geotab Vitality platform is now being extended beyond driver safety to rewarding drivers for other activities like fuel efficiency and maintaining compliance. But what about Pete's quality of service problem?
Well, I'm pleased to announce for that our new voice agent closed beta. We worked very closely here with the team at TELUS and their AI division to bring this new innovation to market. You see, TELUS faced a similar challenge of consistency that Pete had. Their technicians were plagued with paperwork that needed to be completed after every visit and then integrated into their tech hub to help them manage that quality of service. They found it wasn't routinely done. We thought, why not solve for this problem and continue to promote safe driving all at the same time? So, with nothing more than a Go device and a phone, the voice agent allows you to do just that.
All right, well, let's see how that's done. Vic, let's see how easy it is to set up voice agent right here in my Geotab. Pete needs a few routine things done after customer visits, so he pops that into Voice Agent. Pete can also ensure that Salesforce integration is enabled so that he can get a record of everything that happens once it's done. And now, these voice agents can ask Ace for any useful insights. He then configures the voice agent to activate upon exiting a customer zone. Now you can imagine that all of you can set up a bunch of these voice agents to help automate workflows and collect all sorts of information via voice.
So now I'm going to play the role of one of Pete's technicians, Joe, who's just left a customer. And this, by the way, folks, is a live demo, so please pray for me.
Hi, Joe. I see you've just finished your job at the St. Rose Hospital. Did you get to the site successfully and have the right tools and parts for the job?
Yes, I did. I had everything I needed for a successful installation.
Were there many issues with installation or parts that you used?
No issues at all. Parts were in working order. Connections were tightly secured. Everything's operating normally.
That's great. Is there any follow-up required or anything else about the job you'd like to record?
Well, I ran into the facilities manager, Mr. Smith, and he mentioned that he's looking to get a few new AC units installed in a new area of the hospital. I think we should follow up with him next week.
I've got that noted. I'd also noticed a sudden harsh braking incident on your last trip on Paradise Road. I hope everything is okay?
Yeah, you know, I nearly hit a pedestrian because a truck was blocking my view of the intersection, but please don't worry, everything is okay.
I'm relieved to hear that. Continue the great driving this week. You're doing terrific and are ranked 5th safest across the entire fleet. You might also consider redeeming the points you've earned.
Thanks for the reminder. That's all for now.
Great, thank you.
That's pretty incredible. AI is making everybody's life easier. And as you can see, it's all being recorded in Salesforce automatically. And in early trials with customers, TELUS is starting to see the impact on both their customers and their own fleet of technicians.
Now, Neil, just as Joe was about to leave that hospital site, he happened to run into a friend of his, Samantha. And she works at Trane as a certified HVAC technician. She said that Trane has this constant pulse on the site because their HVAC systems are connected with Geotab? I thought Geotab was all about connecting fleets together.
You know what? Geotab is more than just IoT for vehicles now. Geotab is collaborating with Trane to embed our Go device in commercial HVAC units to transmit enhanced diagnostics for the Trane system. Now, so much can be done remotely, proactively detecting and resolving issues faster than ever before, resulting in less downtime. So as Pete starts to grow his business, he has some new ideas on leveraging Geotab in areas that are not just dealing with these fleets.
Now that we've solved the other consistency issues that Pete has, Pete finds he's got another challenge: consistency in operations. He's seeing reports of more vehicle downtime than normal.
But Mike, this is a simple problem to solve, isn't it?
How so, Neil?
Ask Ace.
Okay, let me see what I can do here. Ace, which cities have the highest vehicle downtime? So I'm going to go ahead and enter this in, and let's hit submit. Looks like Las Vegas has the highest downtime. Let me see how that changed month over month over the last year. We're going to go ahead and hit submit again.
You know what? That's interesting, Vic. Things look good until around the September area, but then there was a bit of a spike. Do you know if anything happened?
You know what? That's exactly when we hired a new manager for that location. I usually train all my team to keep a close eye on breakdown risk, but I think she missed that training.
Maybe, Vic, why don't you show us how you trained your managers?
Well, I've been using the new maintenance overview page. Just give that a sec to come up. Okay, there you go. So I've been using the new maintenance overview page. It's really an amazing one-stop shop. For everything maintenance, it brings it all together. Where it would have helped for this new manager in Las Vegas was for her to have access to these insights. This is the breakdown rate you see across the fleet. And if I scroll down, I can see exactly which vehicles have the highest risk of breakdown, as well as the vehicles with the most breakdowns. I can keep close tabs on this. I can pull in my vehicles and schedule work orders before they become a problem. If I scroll back up, I've also got easy access to my upcoming scheduled maintenance events, and I can also take a look at these high critical work requests and keep an eye on these. If I zoom out, I can also see how downtime has been trending across my business, and then scroll down to see which vehicles are contributing to the most downtime. Having all these insights in one area and in one system is a game changer for me. And as you heard before, the quality of the breakdown risk insights I'm getting is phenomenal.
I love how Pete is able to get these maintenance insights, Vic. Amazing. Now, as Pete continues to scale, he's finding he's had to hire more new, more inexperienced drivers. Unfortunately, there was another collision, and this time someone was badly injured. Pete decided to settle because he couldn't risk a nuclear verdict. He has no real idea if his drivers are distracted, and he's not even coaching them in real time, Neil.
You know, our Go Focus Plus can add a lot of value for Pete. It's a powerful camera with both external and internally facing images. It has AI-guided adjustments and auto-calibration because sometimes dash cam installation can be really tricky. Vic, let's dive into a driver, Maria, who was having some serious distracted driving issues, and let's see how coaching was able to help her improve. So one thing that's really nice about combing through these videos is that it frees frames for you on the most important part of the video. And then, like Netflix, you can hover over the video to get a snapshot before opening it. So in this event, you can clearly see that she is distracted and talking on her phone. If you pop up the video, you can now clearly see in greater detail when and where it happened. Now, you can see it's detecting phone usage quite well here, as it does many, many other events. Now, false positives can be a big problem for cameras and cause a loss of faith in coaching programs. So to combat that, our AI team has devoted an incredible amount of time to reducing them through some very novel approaches. And now we're approaching some of the best accuracy metrics in the industry.
So now that we know that there's a distracted driving issue here, let's see the impact of coaching in cab. You can see that Maria started off in November with almost 150 events for the week: distracted driving, tailgating, rolling stops. And you can get quick access to these videos via the spotlight feature here to the right. You can see the coaching events below and the impact that they had on the gradual downturn. And we saw a little bit of an uptick here in January, but nothing crazy. You can even see how she did by specific events. And now, after rolling out Go Focus Plus, we wanted to make sure that we understood the impact of distracted driving events on collisions and in near misses as well. So we ran a study integrated into our collision risk model. We found that distracted driving from phone usage increases your risk of getting into a collision by nearly 3.9 times, which was really closely related to some work that was done by the Transportation Research Board just a few years ago, which looked at a crash risk of 3.6 times. This close alignment truly shows to me the quality of the data and the insight that you get from these cameras. And our customers like Site One have started to see a noticeable impact in safety from them. Let's hear from Site One.
Site One is the largest wholesale distributor for landscape supplies across North America. We have over 2,500 trucks. We understood that dash cams are up and coming technology that all large fleets are having. We're really looking at the behaviors of our drivers to be more proactive in making sure that we're being safe versus reactive. The dash cams, what it does is it's able to use AI and pick up on the unsafe behavior that you're doing. Just by turning on audio alerts, drivers start to pick up if that's an unsafe behavior, and they immediately get better. We're actually taking it and flipping it around to say, who can we reward to show, hey, these are our really safe drivers, and we're going to recognize them because they're practicing that safe behavior. And the experience that Geotab had and the scalability was really valuable because they were able to make all the changes that we need to be successful.
So, you know, cameras, coaching, automation is great, but if you don't know who the driver is in the vehicle, it won't work. And for that, I'm pleased to announce the latest capability that we've added to Go Focus Plus, automatic driver assignment through Smart Driver ID. So whether you're using existing driver identification, through Geotab or opt to use the new Smart Driver ID, the system is designed to make the driver assignment simple so that the driver is assigned to every single trip. And it's privacy first. And best of all, the coaching feature that you saw earlier automates driver assignments, and it doesn't just work for GoFocus Plus, but it's in beta for surf sites and broader availability for our other Order Now camera partners later on this year.
That's incredible, Neil. Thank you so much, Neil, for showing us how Pete can scale his business with Geotab. Now, Pete has only just started here. And to do more, he's got to get the power of the Geotab ecosystem behind him. And to help me tell that story, I'd like to bring on stage Robin Kinsey, our AVP of Geotab Marketplace. Welcome, Robin. Now, if you remember, back when Pete was scaling his business, he was thinking deeply about an acquisition. Well, he decided to pull that trigger. Pete's now acquired his old schoolmate Alan's construction business, and he's pumped to bring some of the best practices of his HVAC business to this new business. Let's just say it was ripe for optimization, Robin. Now, Robin, we're thinking about all of these different segments. First HVAC, now construction. Geotab Marketplace will be a massive help to Pete, I gotta think. How important is this ecosystem to our customers?
Mike, it is so incredibly important. Geotab gives Pete such a strong foundation, and I absolutely truly believe Geotab is the best telematic platform in the entire world. But the reality is, no single platform can solve everything a fleet deals with day to day. Matter of fact, I've never even seen two fleets that operate in exactly the same way. Different segments, different constraints, different priorities, and that's why the marketplace exists today. Customers do not just have one problem, they have many. But the marketplace gives Pete options so he can solve the problems that actually matter to his business. Not force fit a one-size-fits-all solution. When you combine the platform, the ecosystem, and the people behind it, that's when it really works in the real world.
I couldn't agree more, Robin. Now, Pete knows HVAC very, very well. He understands service vehicles, but he's got his hands full with more than just vehicles now, doesn't he, Robin?
You got it. Pete has inherited thousands of small but very critical assets. Generators, concrete saws, welding equipment, tools moving constantly from yard to job site in his newly acquired vehicles, none of which, by the way, are connected. They're expensive, they're mobile, and they operate in some of the harshest environments imaginable. Loss and theft do not just cost him money. They shut down crews and delay projects.
But hold on a second, Robin. There is absolutely nothing in my Geotab that can help him solve this problem.
You're right, until now. What we're announcing today is Geotab's small asset tracking, built to work seamlessly with our marketplace partners like Link Labs and ELA Innovations.
Okay, so I happen to know that someone from Pete's crew was in the building here today at MGM. He didn't know it, but on my way, I kind of took one of his tools. Now, the guys said they were leaving around now. Robin, do you think they'll notice I've taken their tool?
I don't know, Mike. We can check it out and see. So you can easily see how the vehicles have assets linked to the vehicle in the linked asset column. And from the drop-down, you can see how Pete has turned on the alert so he can be notified if the asset is separated from the vehicle. Now, he's packing up his truck, I'm sure, not noticing one of his tools are missing, and driving away. And you can see that the asset is being left behind. Jim is still driving down the road. Looks like, wait a minute, he just did a UE, Mike. You're gonna have to hand over that tool. And here's the alert that Pete received.
Robin, that's incredible, love it. Looks like I'm gonna hand back that tool too, so it's not great on that side. Well, not only does Pete have a whole set of new tools he can track, but he's got way different sets of equipment. He's got excavators, he's got backhoes, way different from his HVAC business. Now, when he's routing his drivers, he needs to put them on the safest, most compliant path. He's got to worry about things like bridges and weight-restricted loads. This year, Geotab Navigation will be available as a stand-alone offering. And we've introduced high-risk driving areas from altitude backed by aggregate insights from over 6 million vehicles. Shall we have a look?
So as you can see, Pete can enable truck-safe navigation to ensure that his trip is protected for his vehicles and that they comply with any road restrictions. He can set up specific parameters for his specific vehicle. Now, let's look at one of Pete's drivers right around the corner from here, going up Algie Street, about to hang a right on East Harmon Avenue. And as he's driving, Geotab Navigation is on his side, warning him well in advance when he's about to hit a specific high-risk driving area. Now, sometimes in life, the unexpected happens. In the event of a collision, Pete wants to ensure that everything goes smoothly as possible. And we've spent time talking to fleets to understand what actually breaks down when they're involved in an accident. Drivers struggle with manual reporting. Details get missed. Photos aren't so great. There's no guidance in that specific moment. Fleet managers don't have a clear post-collision workflow, which just means longer claim cycles, higher cost. And the communication with insurers and third-party administration is often very fragmented. But that is why we have partnered with Extract. Extract digitizes the entire post-collision process and removes friction at every single step, using data already captured by the Go device and the dash cam footage.
Vic, how about we see this in action from the scene of the collision? So after confirming he's okay, the driver opens up a step-by-step first notice of loss right in the Drive app, right?
Exactly, Mike. It's an entire guided workflow. I start by specifying my incident type, in this case, a collision. I then select the location of the incident, and if there was a police officer, paramedics at the scene, I can go ahead and collect those details. As I navigate through the form here, you can see that most of the fields are already pre-filled. The driver doesn't have to scramble for details because the Go device has already done the heavy lifting. I select my damage area. Oh, let's just fix that. I select my damage area. In this case, I indicate that on the right side I experienced some heavy damage. I can also enter in the details of the other vehicle involved. In this case, it was a truck. I can collect their details, go ahead and hit the next button, indicate where the collision occurred as well as the severity, indicate the direction in which the other vehicle is traveling from, hit the next button. If I have any photos, videos, documents, things like that, I can go ahead and upload it, anything relevant to the collision itself. I hit the next button, go ahead and enter in a small description explaining what happened, and that's it. I go ahead and review all my details, make sure everything looks good, and hit the complete button.
That's awesome, Vic. Now, back in my Geotab, Pete's able to do a full accident reconstruction with dash cam footage and weather data automatically captured. He's got a full replay link that he can then package up and share in one claim-ready file.
And Pete is fully in control of exactly what is shared. And this isn't just theoretical. Extract customers have reduced claims costs by 40%. Improved arbitration win rates by 15%, and cut investigation costs by a factor of 10. Now, Pete's also concerned about two more events. What happens when his guys have a breakdown while on the road? And what happens to those guys working alone in remote places by themselves?
Well, let's get Pete sorted. Once again, something's happened to poor, unlucky Joe's vehicle. He's had an unexpected breakdown on Pollock Drive, right here in Henderson. So he's initiated a roadside support right from within the Geotab Drive app. Let's give it a go, Vic. Once again, I'm going to play the role of Joe, and this, again, is a live demo. So again, pray.
Hi, this is your FleetNet roadside agent. Are you okay? Is this an emergency situation that requires an immediate tow?
Not an emergency situation, but I just started my day, and I would love a tow quickly so I can just get back to it.
I see you're on Pollock Drive. Are you pulled over safely and out of traffic?
Yes, I'm just by East Serene Avenue, not blocking any cars.
describe what happened to your vehicle?
You know, it was operating normally, just as usual, for about 10 minutes, and then I just started to hear the engine sputter a bit. It didn't feel very safe to drive, so I pulled over to the side of the road.
Can you give me any additional context about what you can see, hear, smell about your vehicle?
Well, my vehicle's off now, but I can smell a bit of a little smoky smell.
Can you give me any additional visual details about where you are pulled over?
I can see a parking lot a couple blocks ahead of me.
Is there anything else you would like me to record?
That's all from me, thank you.
Hang on tight. Help is on the way.
So, Mike, how does all that work and what happens next?
Well, we worked very closely here with Cox Fleet to integrate our voice agent directly into their FleetNet system. The telematics insights collected during that incident, combined with what the driver provides on that call, flows automatically back into Cox Dispatch so that dispatch can happen faster. The driver then gets notified as soon as help is on the way. This AI-powered experience will help ensure that the driver's taken care of as soon as possible, Robin.
Well, when they're connected to the platform and the marketplace, that's when customers see real value.
Now, Robin, what about the safety of his workers? How can we give Pete a hand there?
Well, this is when Pete brings in OK Alone from the marketplace to address worker safety. When something goes wrong, speed matters more than process. A worker can trigger the need for assistance, and a real safety operator is brought in right away. The OK Alone app also uses AI to detect events like falls and automatically triggers an alert, even if the worker can't ask for help themselves.
Wow, that's incredible, Robin. No interaction needed? I think I might have triggered a call. I guess I'll see what happens.
Connecting to operator. Please hold.
This is OK Loan's monitoring service. We have detected a fault in media system.
You know what? Thanks for calling. I'm okay. You're actually part of a live demonstration here of OK Alone right here in Las Vegas. There are a few thousand people listening. Please do not send emergency services.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll resolve the alert from our side and tell everyone I said hi.
Pete can clearly see on the integrated My Geotab map where all his workers are and see that Mike is in trouble immediately. It's not a separate system. It's part of the same operational view. And emergency services will know exactly where to go. OK Alone brings added peace of mind in workplace, including the Florida Department of Corrections. This is about safety, not surveillance.
So up next for Pete, he's currently bidding on some strategic infrastructure work with his new construction company for the I-15 in South Vegas. Robin, how can the ecosystem support him here?
This is just another example of how the ecosystem supports Pete, not just through marketplace partners, but through Geotab platform that extends beyond the vehicle. Altitude by Geotab is a platform that provides aggregated mobility insights that can help Pete out.
So Pete pulls up Altitude to get an idea of activity over that construction site. He first zooms into the Las Vegas area, and he's able to get more context into traffic volumes and understand the impact to industries, local and otherwise, throughout the course of this actual project. Now, Pete wants to pick the right time of year and day so he can minimize disruption. He's found that October is busier than usual for commercial movement, so he's going to try and steer clear of that month and optimize more so for evening construction. What's more, he's discovered that the majority of the activity is local, with a little bit coming to and from California. This helps him explain the importance of clearly communicating detours to local businesses, Robin, and this turns disruption more into collaboration.
Absolutely. With Altitude, departments of transportation, local government planners has real visibility into the aggregated insights from the commercial activity, allowing them to make smarter decisions that minimize economic disruption. And that I-15 bid, Pete got the job.
Great to hear, Robin. Awesome. Now, at this stage of his life cycle, fuel becomes a different kind of problem, doesn't it, Robin? Multiple businesses, multiple fuel cards, multiple supervisors.
Well, and Pete isn't just worried about theft. He's worried about inefficiency. that he does not have time to chase. A truck stopping with 3/4 of a tank left. 30 minutes at a gas station when it should take 6. Nobody thinks of that as fraud, but it really adds up fast.
So Pete decides to extend Geotab with the Blue Arrow fuel solution from the marketplace. Now, fuel data is available from over 40 different providers and it's consolidated into a single pane of glass, a single experience, all native, right within my Geotab. Vic, shall we have a look here? So fuel issues at this scale, they're rarely obvious. They hide in patterns.
As I pull up the dashboard, you can see those patterns surfacing instantly. For example, there are 4 transaction alerts to look into.
This is where 5 minutes a day really saves hours a week, doesn't it, Vic?
If a driver uses the wrong fuel card, the system flags it. You can see here, for example, that there's a mismatch of 27 gallons of fuel. The system will automatically check whether one of Pete's vehicles is at that location and recommend reassignment.
Some customers also pair a lot of this with Car IQ, where the vehicles themselves actually become the payment method. No card, no skimming. Thank you so much, Robin, for just showing us just a little bit of the power of the marketplace. So now, as Pete's business has grown, he's needed to have much more control over the supply chain. And being the entrepreneur that he is, he decided he's going to branch out into transportation and logistics, because why not? So he's gone international now. He's gone into Canada. He's gone into Mexico. It's a whole new ball game, though, this space of T&L. He's got massive Class 8 tractors, and he's just learned about this requirement to report emissions to this CARB thing, this California Air Resources Board. But he is pumped to learn about Geotab's Clean Truck solution that automates sending all of that emissions data right straight through to CARB servers. But now, safety's also bubbling back up to the top of his mind again. He's got blind spots. These are massive vehicles. He needs something that will give him a true 360-degree view of that truck. And with that, it is my pleasure to bring you the new Go Focus Pro. This builds on Geotab's line of cameras and computer vision capabilities, supporting up to 5 auxiliary cameras. These cameras are robust. They can be installed virtually anywhere on the truck surface, on the mirror arm, in the rear, the payload area, you name it. And his drivers absolutely love having real-time in-cab display of all of his auxiliary cameras. Plus, it's also packed with more AI models, like bollard detection, because that's sometimes very difficult to get from the front-facing camera, and the auxiliaries help for that. Now, with this new fleet of vehicles, Pete's got a problem of more specialized and automated training for this new cohort of drivers that he's have. And here is where Predictive Coach's integrated system can help Pete identify driving behavior that needs attention and provide a series of courses tailored to the specific needs of Pete and his fleet. Let's have a quick demo, Vic.
Right here in the course settings, based on your driving behavior, we can trigger an intervention and automate the coaching process. For example, if a driver triggers 2 distracted driving events, they can be automatically enrolled in a training module.
And once those thresholds are hit, you can jump over the enrollments page. Vic, who are we going to work with today?
Yeah, in this case, we have our favorite driver, Joe. And you'll see here that we have a driver who is recently enrolled in a distracted driving safety course because the system detected a violation. As they engage with that training, I have total visibility on the dashboard to see who has completed what. And here on the drivers page, you can see the drivers who've earned trophies. Let me zoom out a little. You can see the drivers who've earned trophies for extended periods of incident-free driving. It gives fleets a clear, automated way to reward top-tier safety and build a culture that truly values excellence.
Now let's have a look at what that looks like for the driver behind the wheel.
Absolutely. On the Geotab Drive app, the driver receives an instant notification or text message with a direct link to the training. They can click that link. If they have any trophies, you'll see that at first, and then if you scroll down, you can see the courses that the driver's enrolled in.
Awesome. Simple and engaging. Look how easy that was. Thank you very much, Predictive Coach. Now, with that T&L business, Pete's got a whole set of other assets. He's got trailers, he's got containers, he's got assets in the US, in Mexico, in Canada, and nothing is currently being monitored. He has no idea, none, where they are. I'm pleased to announce the launch of our next generation Go Anywhere. So it has been designed specifically to help Pete track any unpowered assets. By using cutting-edge technology, replacing batteries becomes a thing of the past. The new Go Anywhere is very small, it's compact, and it can track a ping once an hour for 10 years. Now, that's all very well and good, but for his powered trailers and equipment, he needs more data, like how far they've traveled and how many engine hours they've actually accumulated, so that he can plan strategically around maintenance for them. And for that, I'm super excited to announce a brand new addition to the family, our Go Anywhere Plus, which comes built in with Starlink direct-to-cell technology. This marks a significant milestone in the industry, merging the worlds of satellite and mobile networks together. Pete can now take comfort in knowing that even when his trailers and equipments are in remote areas or pass through these cellular dead zones, he never, ever loses sight of his assets. All of this at the fraction of the cost of traditional hardware-intensive satellite connectivity, and of course, fully integrated into the entire My Geotab experience. So with the multiple acquisitions that Pete has, both in the construction and the T&L space, he's got a truly blended fleet. Pete's thinking about the future. He's heard a lot about OEM connectivity. How does that actually integrate with Geotab? Well, I think we may have Pete covered. Look at that list of OEM integrations, with 8 more added this year. GM Mexico, Hyundai US, Oshkosh, Mercedes-Benz US, Tesla, Thermo King, Kia, and Toyota all over the past year. We've also made it incredibly easier for OEMs to join that ecosystem that Geotab has with the introduction of brand new APIs that make processes so much easier for activation and deactivation. This puts the power in the hands of our OEM partners. And so, while the breadth of coverage, of course, is something that's very important, the devil's often in the details, and the depth of coverage is so important. You've heard me talk in the past about the importance of data quality, of enabling insights, and how having that right level of quality is absolutely paramount to getting insight. So we've made it our mission to work very closely with our OEM partners to ensure that it doesn't matter if you're connected to an OEM device or a Go device, you get the same insights. And for that, I'm pleased to announce that coming soon, Ford Premium OEM data will now be included in Geotab's Collision Risk Insights. This, I hope, is the first of many to come. This means that when Pete navigates to the collision risk page, he'll see insights from Ford OEM connected vehicles right alongside other connected vehicles inside his fleet. Now, in case you hadn't noticed, Pete's a pretty forward-looking guy. And he understands that this world of AI isn't going to be much if he can't get the right data in his ecosystem, and he wants all of that data together. Pete needs his data in his own environment. He just wants to turn it on and let it flow. Well, this becomes incredibly easy with our brand new cloud data share. Through a simple process in My Geotab, administrators can now easily turn on streams of data and insight into their own cloud-based environments, like AWS Kinesis, Google BigQuery, PubSub, Microsoft Event Hub, and more. No coding, no integration layer. You get all the data you need right in your environment, and it scales exceptionally well. Kyle from UPS deployed cloud data share to their fleet of well over 100,000 vehicles. And over the last year, it's been absolutely game-changing for them. It helps their enterprise keep pace with their logistics network. And they can make use of incredible data and insights in so many more places in UPS on Google Cloud. Incredible. Now, Pete's got a handle on data. It's time for him to really dive deep into the world of AI. His team set him up with a couple different solutions: Anthropic's Claude and Google Gemini. But he wants to talk to his data. I'm pleased to announce by the end of Q1, we'll launch a connector just for this, our very own MCP connector that will allow you to securely connect your AI to Ace and to your Geotab environment. Let's give it a spin. So Pete's just connected Claude to the Geotab MCP. And here's what he's trying to do. Last year, during the F1 race in Vegas, he had a bunch of assets and vehicles that were out of commission due to some of the road closures, and he wanted to make sure he's got a plan for it this year. So Pete first wants to understand the road closures, so he goes to Claude and asks what road closures will look like for the 2026 event, and it gives Pete a bit of a synopsis. But Pete wants to take action on this, so he decides to ask Claude to put those road closures right into my Geotab for him, and you can see, voila, it does that. Right? Then he wants to know the impact to his fleet, so he wants to create a quick dashboard and something that we call our Zenith design pattern, so Geotab styling, so they can understand the actual impacts. And to do that, he asks for insights from both Ace as well as the My Geotab API. And so he's asking Claude how to do this. You can see it's doing the design pattern. Look what it comes up with. Absolutely incredible, just in seconds. But he wants to ensure that he gets all of his assets out of these areas during the event. So he asks for an email to be sent to him whenever the assets are in the zones, 24 hours prior to that event, so that he can actually take some action. And it's going to communicate straight back into my Geotab through MCP, through the APIs. It's incredible. So in just a few minutes, he will have gone from zero understanding of the implication of this race for his fleet to something actionable that he can continue to ensure that his fleet is running with minimal disruption during this very, very busy event. And folks, it gets better than that. Let's give Pete a real-time tool that he can use to track all of this when the time comes right from within my Geotab. And to do that, I'm going to do a little bit of a magic trick. I am going to turn, if I can find it here, this paper napkin right here into a real-life app. Remember the days when you had an idea that you scribble it down on the back of a napkin, then maybe sometime in the future you'd see it progress? I'm here to tell you that this napkin to reality gap, it's officially closed. Using a handy gem in Gemini, we can literally turn the concept of an app into a fully functioning add-in straight within my Geotab. Think of the power of this, folks. This puts Pete and you all in control of your own destiny, all from taking a picture of a napkin. And this is the world that we live in. You can see it's fully functioning too. You can click in and it'll go to places within my Geotab. This is the world we live in today. AI is propelling immediate insight and value at mind-blowingly fast speeds. Let's bring this all together, and to help me tie a knot on things, I'm going to bring Robin and Neil right back up onto the stage. So, we've seen Pete through his journey from this small startup all the way to this multinational institution that he's created. He's truly created a legacy for his kids. Let's hone in on a few key takeaways.
So, to thrive in the world of AI, everything needs to be connected. Your vehicles, assets large and small, auxiliaries, cameras, vehicles on and off-road. You have to go beyond the vehicle, beyond the telematics device, towards that full digital twin of your operations. We have leveraged our world-class obsession on data quality to drive deep outcomes in new segments. We have given some exciting new capabilities driven by video AI, including proactive maintenance of our roadways for cities across the globe, from road quality issues through to flooding, through to vegetation outgrowth and sign obstruction. So if you're interested in learning more about this, please get in touch with Neil Garrett, who heads up our public sector business development.
And we're not doing it alone. Geotab gives customers a powerful platform. The marketplace is what makes that platform adaptable as a customer's business changes. So whether you're in public sector and you need better visibility or accessibility, accountability, in construction and trying to keep crews productive and assets moving. In transportation and logistics, focus on safety, routing, and fuel efficiency. Or just managing a service fleet where uptime is everything. The marketplace allows customers to extend Geotab to solve the problems that matter most to them without making things harder to manage and without waiting. That's why the marketplace matters. It's not about adding more. It's about giving customers the flexibility to keep moving forward.
And that power of partnership extends to partnership in AI. Geotab AI creates a strong foundation, data collection at source, from our video models for detecting things like driver distraction to identifying collision risk and breakdown risk, to our multi-agent platform Ace that serves as your data scientist, your support superhero, and your voice-enabled productivity assistant. But it's more than that, right? It's how our partners are adopting it too, from TELUS and Cox, driving integration through voice, to OK Alone, building AI models to accurately detect falls, to all of the work Predictive Coach is doing. AI is not a single-player game. AI is a team sport. And the more collaboration there is on that team, the better outcomes we're able to collectively bring to you, our customers.
Look, we're living through one of the most profound shifts in how work gets done since the Industrial Revolution. AI isn't coming, it's here. And it's not just changing our companies, it's changing how every one of us thinks, decides, and leads. You can't talk about AI in the abstract anymore. You have to trust it, use it, and make it part of how you operate every day. And yes, like anything worth doing, you have to put the work in. The results won't come overnight, but they will come. You've seen it here this week. AI is already making us safer, more informed, more capable. This isn't speculation. This isn't a slide deck about the future. We're living it right now. And it's changing outcomes for people in the real world, in real fleets, and on real roads. So we have a choice. We can stand on the sidelines and watch the world transform around us, or we can get onto that roller coaster, grab the bar, ride it with everything you got, learn the tools, become the expert. Because it's your leadership in your organization that will determine whether your people thrive in the new world or get left behind. At Geotab, we've made our choice. We're going to bring back AI to the people, not as a threat, but as a partner, by driving change through coaching and rewards that lead with the carrot, not the stick, by simplifying the workflow on the road, by giving drivers the insight to make split-second decisions that keep them safe, and empowering them with tools to react when something goes wrong. Because at the end of the day, every vehicle in your fleet carries something more important than cargo. It carries a person, a parent, a partner, somebody who made a quiet promise before they walked out the door this morning, I'll be home soon. That promise is why we do what we do. That promise is why you do what you do. And to keep it, we have to see what others can't. Thank you.